All right. Hello, everyone. I learned you said you cannot hear me. Help me put off that. But I suppose everybody should be hearing me now. Okay, so we are beginning now very quickly. All right, so like we have, what we are doing this evening is Math 101 revision class. Sorry, let me start by apologizing for the lateness in our, commencement. We had little glitches. I was supposed to add this class using my usual way of using my system, but then we had my graphic pen, I don't know where it is, so we had to improvise with this. All right, I hope everybody is following. So you can make comments on the group. There are people here that will respond depending, that's on the chat box on this live stream. So you make comments if there is any issue so that I can know as we progress. All right. Okay. So you recall that I'm going to be making use of this as much as I have here, and then we will look at some past questions that we have. There are some past questions we have which we will use to also, and then some typical questions that are very critical. All right, so recall that from the information I passed, I said we are going to be looking at topics such as, okay, of course we can start from algebra of complex numbers. Okay, so and then another one, we will also consider some of the exercises in the book that we have. Get me that book. There's some of those exercises, okay. So we will also look at some of the exercises and then some of the very important problems. Okay, so this one, and then we also look at trigonometry, okay. So these are very important. That's because we have previously looked at indices, logarithms, and questions on sorts. But you can as well send in questions, whether on the WhatsApp group, wherever, on any of those topics if you still have issues there. Of course, I will still bring some more. Okay, so we'll look at this, and then we will look at questions on binomial expansion or binomial theorem. Okay, so binomial expansion, and then after that, okay, we'll look at topics or questions or problems on inequalities. Of course, this one is not an issue, so you should be able to handle problems on this. But of course, we will also look at some problems there. And then sequences and series, permutation and combination. Because of our time, we will not be wasting time looking at all of that or writing them out. So let's start. I'm going to be beginning this question. Remember, like I said, critical examples. There's one question someone brought earlier today, okay, so which is very important. Look at it. You have the absolute value of, let's say, x minus 2. Is it x minus 2 now? Or let's say 2x, whatever. Or maybe x minus 2 is okay. All over, let's say 3. And then close it, is less than or equal to, what's that number now? Let me say 5, for instance. Okay, and you're asked to find the values of x. So here we are looking for the values of x. Okay, so when you have such an inequality, of course, you can see this is involving inequalities, and then you have the absolute value function. Okay, so and okay, make this over 3. That's 5 over 3. Yeah, I think that was the nature. Okay, so this is a very nice question. So how do you handle this kind of problem when you see it? Very beautiful. And so what do? Just look for whenever you have an absolute value function this way, you know that absolute value function is one of the functions that we define as an even function. And what's the definition of an absolute value? If our absolute value acts on x, so we say that it is equal to minus, it can give you x if your x is positive. If you have your x as positive, and it can be minus x if your x is negative. Now, I'm going to explain what I mean by this. What that means is that when absolute value acts on any particular variable or any number, whether it is negative or positive, it will always produce a positive value. So, and that's why we say that when you now have the absolute value now of something, so it means that whatever this was, whether it be negative or positive, it is actually going to give you the positive value. When you have a problem like this, what do? You are going to now, for instance, if we say that this is less than, let's say, a, so you are going to now have this same value on both sides. Or even if you say it is equal to a, so it means that whatever the value was, was actually negative or positive. Of that, when we interpret this, we are going to have that your x is either less than your positive a, and then on the other side of it, you bring in the negative a and then put in the same sign. So that's actually what you're going to do here. So on both sides of this, you will remove the absolute value, and then on 5/3, and then on the other side you will now have -5/3, and you will put the same sign here. Okay, so once you get that, you will now try to simplify what you have. So, and how do you simplify? Of course, the first thing is to take away the fraction, multiply through by 3. So if I multiply by 3 here, I'll get -5. Then here, this will go away. I will have x minus 2. Then less than, here you will have just 5. Okay, so I'm using this example just to kickstart this class. And then you will now solve our inequality. You know how to solve. So you try to clear this one because you're looking for x. So let this one come over here and also go to the other side. So if -2 comes over here, it will become +2. Is less than, x will be alone, but it will also come to the other side. So we will have 5 plus 2. Okay, so your final answer is now going to be -3 is less than x, and x is less than 7. And remember, I taught you how to represent inequalities in interval form, because you will not expect us to give you this in this form when it comes to exam. So we will always put it in interval form. So, and this is going to simply be in interval form. This is open. So here is going to be used 2 open brackets, and so here you will have -3, while here you will have 7. All right, so meanwhile, for those of you who, because I was supposed to share the new link on my status for many persons who are supposed to join us, you can just search the name. Okay, so those of you who are already online, you can share the link to everywhere, your groups. I know many people are waiting to be part of this class today, so share the links to your groups and then on your status also, so that people can join the class. All right, so let's now look at other examples that we can consider today. Okay, so meanwhile, help me get those past questions that I want us to look at. All right, so let's look at some other questions on inequalities before we move away from here. Okay, so look at this other example here. Okay, so let me remove this place. So meanwhile, just to help you, because I'm aware that many of you are very nervous when it comes to tomorrow's exam, like you've already seen, it's going to be between 30 minutes, maybe 25, and then at most 35 minutes. So however, it's going to be a very straightforward exam, and so excuse me. Is it for all of them? Okay, it's blurry. Let me see why it is so. Just a minute. I'm going to go again.